happy Tuesday 10 at 10. I am your host, Richard Charpentier, and every Tuesday we get together to answer questions that were sent from, Bakerpedia to Bakerpedia, and then we try our best to answer the questions. So our first question is regarding enzymes, and someone is asking what enzymes can help with the softness of hamburger buns. Uh, I know it's going to be a question where enzymes is particular to who you're talking to, the vendor. Enzymes are sort of, blends. There's never one straight enzyme that works. If you want to break the starches, people go through the amylases, which they work well, but it can be too aggressive. Mark, who's also a great baker, has mentioned that enzyme innovation. They have a maltogenic enzyme that would be perfect for this. And he mentioned to try C-Bake Fresh Ultra. So that's one of them. I've never worked with them. Mark has. I've worked with different companies like Sweet Times, where they have specialty enzymes in my past, which I got great results. But remember, working with enzymes, it's like anything else. You have to follow certain protocols and certain rules of enzymes because enzymes need a certain amount of moisture. Enzyme will be reactive during a period of time during as soon as you put it into your dough, you start mixing it. And then based on the type, your pH, based on the fermentation times you get with your buns, then you're going to get more activity with the enzymes until you come to kill point. The bakery, once you bake it, the bake profile, you come over, burger buns, they get over 200 Fahrenheit. And then at that point, deactivated. And that's the texture you get, but also the type of packaging you have as well. And the determined shelf life that you're going after will be factors that will also affect how well the enzymes work. And all those small factors, then, if you have a maltogenic enzyme, so it's going to work a little more on, each enzyme on the malt. Each enzyme needs a substrate to work on. So if you take a lipase, I'm mentioning a lipase, you're going to need lipids to work on, and cellulase, you need some cellulose as substrate. So I would recommend, if looking into enzymes and freshness, look at Bakerpedia. There's a lot of great resources on the different type of enzymes and recommended levels. But in terms of freshness for your buns, it's really varying based on the type of vendor. So the best is go check with your local vendor based on where you are located and ask what type of enzymes they have available for what you're trying to do. But also, again, formulation, a good bake, and a good packaging would be recommended along with a good enzyme. So thank you very much for your question. Now moving on to our last, we have two questions today, where someone asked regarding making dehydrated vegan cookies and the base of all flavors they're using for their dry cookie: cashew nuts, oats, and salt. And they go through a process where they dry it in a very small temperature, and they're putting agave nectar and brown sugar for helping the cookies last longer, and they're getting off flavors, and it's a really long, but overall they're trying to figure out with what they're doing is good because they're not getting the texture as they dry it. Well, the process of, it seems like your process of drying your cookies is quite long, and in order to create repeatability within a dry product, highly recommended to have a moisture value, that you have a moisture meter. You take it and you understand, okay, where is my moisture? Because that, even from personal experience, we would target a texture based on the moisture. And that's how, if you look even at the goldfish from Pepperidge, I think it's Pepperidge making it, the little goldfish snacks, the reason why they have the same crunch is due to the fact that they dry the little fish to a specific moisture that they're targeting. So, and they have, of course, commercial oven and microwave oven to really move the moisture out. How the results of your cookies is how you move the moisture out. In terms of, yeah, your cashew nuts could create the off flavor, so not 100% sure. But if you could, your dates also. But if you, we help is basically drop your water activity. But if you have a dry product, you should be good, because you have the moisture and the water activity are very different measures. The water activity will be a point that ensures that you are within a safe zone with your cookies. And in terms of the off flavors, could be coming from the ingredients. Again, how fresh are the ingredients and how are they stored, etc. Uh, uh, and I think, once the environment in which you dry your cookies could be all of those factors. And again, not being able to see the formula and reading through and seeing, okay, what could be going wrong, and do you have too much of one thing versus another, and what's tying everything together. So I would say, see if you can, uh, because you could be picking up flavors, and you're saying you have a 42 hour drying process, or a very long, lengthy drying process. So maybe that process is also contributing to some off flavors developing over time. But it sounds like a very delicious cookie to try, with all the cashew nuts, and with a nice with a tea or coffee. So I would, be nice to try. But that's it for today. Those were the two questions we had. So thank you very much for listening to Tuesday 10 at 10, and I will see you next week. Thank you.